Welcome to another edition of Under the Scope. Tonight, we continue our series on the world of mixed martial arts. Tonight, we look at one of the forms of the art, that's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And tonight, we talk with the school in Newark, Delaware. They are known as the Theat Combat School, and this is their story.
Jiu-Jitsu, I tell everybody I know is, if you're going to start your kids in a martial art, start them in Jiu-Jitsu. Don't start them in Taekwondo. I mean, nothing against, I did Taekwondo for years. It was one of the martial arts. I did Judo for a little while when I was real young. Very dabbled with wrestling and all, but in every other sport, it seems like the practice is hitting a pad, doing a kata, something like that. Jiu-Jitsu, every day, you fight live. You train, you learn what it's like to be choked out, armbarred, how to physically do it and get it sunk in on somebody who's defending it. So, I mean, it's, like I said, it's, it's just pure right there. Kids go on the street with an 11-year-old with a black belt, and they're like, I'm a black belt. They're not really a black belt. They're, they've learned some forms, and they learned how to throw a punch and how to kick a pad. In a real confrontation, that's going to go out the window real quick.
One of the smaller guys in the gym. I've always kind of been like the skinny guy, and when I kind of found out about jiu-jitsu and how you can use a little bit of weight and a little leverage to be able to take down a much bigger opponent, it just appealed to me. Like a lot of other martial arts, you can get real good, like real good, but the difference in weight is always there. But you see real small guys like Marcelo Garcia, they're throwing huge guys around doing jiu-jitsu, and I think that's amazing. I mean, if you look back at the guys who who started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracies, like he was a real small guy, and he took the Jiu-Jitsu that Count Maeda, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the whole story. Basically, he immigrated from Japan, and he couldn't. The Gracies took him in, and in exchange, he taught him Jiu-Jitsu. But he felt that a lot of the traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu required a lot of strength, so he modified it so that guys like me can hold my own against some of the monsters in this gym. Yeah, I'd say in the Jiu-Jitsu world, there's a lot of competition just for Jiu-Jitsu's sake alone. If you're gonna do MMA and you don't know a lick of Jiu-Jitsu, you don't have no future. That's really it, because when UFC first started, the Gracies were just choking everyone out left and right because no one knew what the heck they were doing. So if you're gonna do MMA, you need Jiu-Jitsu. Because you never know what to expect, because the jiu-jitsu and grappling combined with striking, it levels the playing field. And it makes it much more of a game of skill than just raw training. Like training's huge, like you can't do without it, but it makes it a much more intellectual type of game. Like a guy who's really good at grappling, his job is to get the fight to the ground, and if he can make the fight go that way, he's going to win. However, if you've the boxer type or kickboxer type, all he's trying to do is avoid those takedowns and get punches in while the guy's coming up and trying to take him down again. So there's more variety to it than just jabs, crosses, and combos the whole time. Jiu-Jitsu is one of the few martial arts that you can go 100% as if like you're in a real fight, but the only time that you're training is when you tap, because we're going full force the whole time, but then as soon as one of us is in pain, it's like that, then it's over and we start over. You can't do that with when you're talking about I mean, unless you're wearing padding and stuff for boxing and stuff, you can't go full force, so you don't know 100% what you're capable of, and I think that's really cool that you can basically go like you're in a real fight and still not be worried about hurting someone or getting hurt in the process. Like, I mean, we throw each other around and like we're rough, and but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to learn, and that's one of the things that I love the most about it.
School and everything, I just look forward to coming here because this is kind of like an exercise for my mind. Come in here and learn something new every night, talk to people. I mean, everyone here is my best friend, so I just love coming here for the social aspect, for the physical aspect, and for the learning aspect. And this gym is really the best because they focus on the little details. Like, I've been to a couple other gyms when I first started out, and they didn't focus on the little details. You'd go one day, they'd show you a technique, you'd go the next day, and they'd show you something completely different than what they were talking about the day before. Here, it's kind of a progression. They show you one technique, and then they show you every way that you can use it. Then it's very personalized. If one person is doing something wrong, the coach will go and fix it, basically, whereas some other gyms I've been to, the coach really didn't care, and he was just doing it because it was his job. I love this gym because they focus on the little details, and everybody here who comes, they get better. So that's why I can't really not look forward to coming any night.
It's the live action. Main thing is here, everyone knows your bad habits. Everyone knows your good habits. And we've been rolling together for so long, people know what to do to get us to do our bad habits. And we pick up on that. We try to stop it. We try to kind of recreate ourselves. And coach is good at, if you don't change your bad habits, he won't let you get any further until you break that habit. And that's how we kind of work with each other. Being at home, it just, you don't get that motivation. You don't get that drive to where, I like it sometimes we have in-house tournaments and you have those guys that say, I want you, because you are the next best guy. So beating you or, getting that tap on you kind of lets me know where I'm at. And it never turns into a bitter or bickering thing. It's just a fellowship, say, have you gotten better? And that's what makes it so difficult at times because everyone gets better with everyone, per se. And you may seem you're not getting better, but we're improving so much that when we go to other places, you see the improvement. So I like it.
Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I train judo with my Jiu-Jitsu instructor, who's a 6th degree black belt in judo. We're affiliated through them. Mario Yamasaki, who is a referee in the UFC, we're affiliated through his family through them for Jiu-Jitsu. Fernando Yamasaki's my master. They have years and years of, I think Fernando started Jiu-Jitsu in the late 60s, early 70s. But there are some schools that open up who they have an MMA program and they don't have a Jiu-Jitsu guy at all. But I'll tell you, the Jiu-Jitsu community is very good at policing themselves. If a gym opens up in Delaware somewhere or in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, people who are legitimate will inquire about who that guy is. And there'll be chatter on the net. There'll be chatter from school to school about this guy's running a school and he's not doing the right thing or he's not safe. And there are gyms around here that are like that. So it's really up to the consumer to really do their homework, ask the questions, what's your belt ranking in jiu-jitsu? What's your, do you have a catch wrestling background if you don't do jiu-jitsu? How far did you go? Who did you train under? Where'd you get your striking from? Who's your instructor? If somebody that you talk to running a school gets offended by those questions, they're probably not being honest with you. Check the credentials of the place you're going. Go there and take their free trial. Go to different schools. Don't just pick one and go there and say, this is the one I'm going to. Even though that guy might be great, and that gym might be great, and they may produce really good fighters, the culture there might not be what you're looking for. So I always encourage people when they come here to check out other schools. Come here, do your free trial, go check out the schools in the area. If we're what you're looking for, come back. If we're not, good luck, and you have to be a smart consumer. You wouldn't just walk into any car dealership and buy a car sight unseen without test driving it. It's the same thing. You want to really look into what you're doing. You have to trust your instructor. Once you settle on a school, you have to trust your coach and your instructor. Do what they tell you to do. You know, if you really want to make this, if you really want to take a run at this, you know, you have to dedicate the time to it. But not everybody who trains MMA or trains jiu-jitsu has to compete or has to compete at that level. You know, I have plenty of guys that come in and, you know, they're doctors or lawyers and they just train. Once in a while they'll do a jiu-jitsu competition.
Well, that concludes this episode of Under the Scope and concludes our opening season.